Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and I have a bonus video for you today. This was a bonus read that I ended up doing. I got this book for Christmas, and today we are going to be talking about Marked by Cast and Kristin Cast. Um, I'll get into my thoughts in just a second. It's kind of complicated. Before I do, though, just a reminder, of course, we have resumed our book of the month. It is never too late to join if you are interested. I break down chapter sets by week, and then I do discussion questions the following Monday. But of course, you can join at any time because you can just read those chapter sets and then watch the corresponding video. So if you're interested, this month we are reading Lady Boss by Jackie Collins. Definitely 18 plus, but I hope you will participate. And then, of course, we do our weekly reads every Wednesday, our Throwback Thursdays, where I cover some of my childhood favorites. And then we are also going to be resuming our series Saturday. That won't be regular, but they will start popping up here and there. I'm going to start um, continue on with the Dresden Files. I'm on the 6th book right now. And then, of course, I'm continuing to read my ABC Author Challenge books, and I'm starting on my 25 Days of Bookmas books. So, lots happening here. If you aren't already, please do subscribe, hit the bell notification, and give this video a like while you're at it. It really does help the channel out. So now let's go ahead and jump into Marked. So I am not familiar with this book at all. I had never heard of it. The same person that gave me this book had also given me City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And this one, City of Bones, I know it kind of has mixed reviews, but overall I really enjoyed this one. It was one I wasn't really interested in just because I see it pop up all the time. Even still, it's a little bit older and such, I still see it pop up regularly. And so it was one, I don't really like books that are overly hyped. And so it was one that I really didn't tend to gravitate towards, but I'm glad she did gift that to me. I did really enjoy it, and I had watched the first season of the television show and really enjoyed that. And so overall, I found it pretty enjoyable. With Mark, I had never heard of it, but story wise, I actually would say I would prefer this over City of Bones. But there were some issues with the writing that I will get into. But before I do, let's just go ahead and talk about the premise of the book. So, in this story verse, you have vampires and humans. The humans are aware of the vampires. They kind of are commonplace. They're not necessarily accepting, especially like Zoe's family, who's the main character. Her stepdad is very religious and think that kids that get marked are troublemakers and they cause the mark to basically be brought upon themselves. And so they're not very accepting when she gets marked. And when you get marked, you have to go to the special school or you just get really, really sick. And then also some kids don't complete the change and they'll just get sick and pass away while they're at the school as well. And then if you complete the change, you become a full-fledged vampire. So the students are called fledglings and there's different years. So when you first get marked, your 3 form or something like that. I can't remember how it's presented. And then it goes up to year 6, I think. But so anyway, it follows Zoe. She gets marked and she ends up going to the special school. What I really liked about the character Zoe is that she has Cherokee ancestry and her grandmother is very loving and has taught her a lot about her ancestors and some of like the rituals and such that they did. So there's that kind of Native American spirituality there that I absolutely loved. I really enjoyed that aspect. There's a little bit of lore and such, kind of like a mythical aspect as well. Cats play a big part. Vampires and cats have a great affinity for each other. And then you also have the goddess Nyx, who's the goddess for the vampires. So there's that aspect. And then there's also like high priestess and such. So vampires that have special abilities. So not all vampires do. The high priestess do, and like her mentor, they each have a mentor, and her mentor is a high priestess, and she has healing, and she has an affinity for cats. So, really enjoyed kind of that supernatural storyverse that was built. The problem I had though was that she used a lot of like late 90s, early 2000s pop culture references, which kind of ruined that feel of the story. She also brought real life, like actors, singers, and such into the story. So, like she said, Shania Twain and Faith Hill and Tim McGraw were all vampires, and like some actors were vampires, and like vampires because they tend to be so beautiful do really well in the arts and such. Which there's nothing wrong with doing that, but I despise when like a supernatural or fantasy book brings real life actors and actresses into it. I don't enjoy that, especially in on the level that they do it. It's one thing, to maybe, oh, the actor, in this movie, um, versus using the real life people and their real lives in the story. So saying that Shania Twain and Faith Hill were vampires, I just don't like that. And when I read Dean Koontz Demon Seed, that was one of the things. I mean, I did not enjoy that book at all in general, but that was also one of the things that really got under my skin because I don't like, it brings a certain realness to it that I don't enjoy. I want to read a fantasy book. I want it to be fantasy. I don't want real life people brought into it. Now, she referenced like Shakespeare. That's fine. He's been dead and gone for a long time. So those kind of references are fine for me, but not like real life living people. I don't enjoy that. And so that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then also how she presented certain things. Like there's a couple of people of color, and just the way she presented them just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The one character, Damien, is gay, and the way when the main character Zoe is introduced to him, the way she presented that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Um, and I don't know, I follow a range of people, and one girl I was following, she is a person of color, and she was talking about how she hates when people, like when a character is a person of color and the author compares them to food, which this author did a lot. And like one girl was mixed, and so the way she, like, oh, her skin is like so beautiful, and like a latte or something, and I don't know, it's just kind of was the way it was she presented certain things just kind of was wrong. And then that girl, I think that same girl, her hair, was obviously um slightly different textured, and so she used the word not in reference to this girl, but sort of. So she used the word nappy one time, in reference to like this character that he's kind of slob and a sloth, and he sleeps in class and he has like no motivation. She used the word nappy for his hair, and then on the mixed race character, she said that her hair doesn't nap up, which I don't know. I did not like how she presented certain things. And then that character who was kind of a slob and a sloth and such, I think she could have done a better job presenting that character. Like, obviously, he was not a likable character, but just the way she did it was almost like cruel and derogatory, which again just rubbed me the wrong way. I did not enjoy that. Like, you can make a character unlikable without doing that, and get your point across without doing that. And so, yeah, I didn't like that. And it was a shame because I thought she did a really good job on other aspects. Like, you have all these perfect, beautiful vampires, and then you have her friend group. So you have her, and then her roommate, Stevie Ray, isn't like beautiful. She's more cutesy. She doesn't have the long hair or anything like that. And then you have Damien, and then you have the twins, is what they call them, the other two girls, who are very much alike and kind of are on the same wavelength and such. And her friend group were kind of quirky and not cookie cutter, and I think she could have just done a better job overall. And I really, really wish, she had, because the story itself I thought was very enjoyable, and I like the story verse that she created here. But it's just, and I think, she did it to try to connect. Obviously, this is for aimed for teenagers, and like one part in the acknowledgments, um, she says, I also want to thank my fabulous daughter Kristin for making sure we sound like teenagers. I couldn't have done it without you. And so I think they tried too hard almost to make sure they put in those pop culture references, and were kind of mean girlish, like, is often presented. Um, and I don't know, it ruined the story for me. Not completely, because I did enjoy the story, and towards the end it got a little less noticeable. But yeah, I really thought the story was good itself. And there's kind of, it's not just about her going to the school. She's unique over being marked to become a vampire. There's something unique about her among the fledglings, and that plays a part in her role in the story as well. And then it kind of ties together at the end, that uniqueness about her. And I think it's really going to come into play going forward. And there's also like the Mean Girls, the Daughters of Dark, um, and like it's basically a sorority, kind of an exclusive club there. And yeah, I think overall it was pretty enjoyable. And there's something, you know, a couple of the kids in this story don't make it. They don't complete the change. And there's something off about that. And I think that's going to continue on through the rest of the books, or at least through the next one. And it kind of played a part, like it just got started in this book. It was more, this book was more about what makes her unique and such, and her kind of coming into her powers and accepting that. Um, where I think the next one's really going to probably hopefully get into more of, the mystery that's going on, and her role in that. But I just wish it had been done better. I think I'm gonna try and get the second one. I'm not gonna go like out and buy them all. I think I'll get the second one, give this author another chance. I think this was her first book. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was, and so she's probably just developing her writing style, and so hopefully the later books get a little bit better. Because like I said, I did enjoy the story itself, but I just couldn't get past some of those things that kept ruining the story for me. But I think I've rambled on enough. If you've read this, let me know your thoughts on it. Um, and if you had the same issues with it that I did. And other than that, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.